And thanks for joining us. Developing within the last hour, the Prime Minister of New Zealand is immediately banning assault rifles similar to the ones used in last Friday's attacks on two mosques in Christchurch.
This is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining us. New details are emerging in the partnership dispute between Dane County and the Henry Vilas Zoological Society. The Lloyd mother will not face charges after her toddler was found walking the streets this morning alone, wearing only a pull-up diaper. Happened about 7:30. This was near the 1500 block of Roosevelt Avenue in Beloit. Police say the child was cold but didn't have any injuries. They searched the neighborhood for close to an hour before finding the boy's mother. They say this happens more often than you think.
I'd say on average once every other month. And it's either way. Either there's a child found and then we try to locate the parents, or parents call saying, I just woke up, I just got home, my kid's not in the house.
Child Protective Services was called to the home, but police say they don't believe child neglect had anything to do with the toddler getting loose. Police and family are looking for a missing veteran, 38-year-old Yuri Burrows. He is the subject of a green alert here in Wisconsin. Police say he was last seen at a tavern Monday night in Howard outside Green Bay. He drives a gray 2010 Toyota 4Runner, military license plate EWARFR. If you know where Burrows is, you're asked to call the Green Bay Police Department. Leaders in the Clinton Community School District are hopeful a facilities referendum will pass in this spring's election. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with what's on the ballot. Adam? The governor of Nebraska is calling the flooding there the most widespread destruction that state has ever seen. Some 23 million metric tons of salt is dumped on roads across the country every winter. Researchers say all that salt is causing a growing problem for Wisconsin lakes. Studies show Lake Mendota has about 25 times the amount of chloride it had before we started putting salt down about 80 years ago. Researchers have been monitoring the levels since then and say if we don't do something different soon, the quality of our lakes will continue to deteriorate. Republicans on the Wisconsin Building Commission are refusing to endorse Democratic Governor Tony Evers' plan for $2.5 billion in construction projects across the state. Republican lawmakers sent the governor a letter calling his proposed $2 billion in borrowing, quote, unrealistic and unsustainable. They called on the governor to work with them on a more modest plan. The president is using Twitter to launch attacks against two of his biggest critics, one living and one dead. The FDA has approved the first drug to treat postpartum depression.
Yes, don't rub it in.
Yeah, he always does that.
Jay and I not complaining. Not complaining.
That sunshine looks pretty good, too. They angled that with the palm trees behind him, too, just to rub it in. Kevin Lewis.
Enjoy it, Kevin.
Live
have fun.
in San Jose, Kevin.
We'll do our best.
Investigators are making progress as they search for answers in the crash of an Ethiopian Airlines jetliner earlier this month. Jamie, thank you. A Madison gas station owner is headed to prison for selling synthetic marijuana and possessing untaxed tobacco. Farouk Jazad was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison and will have to pay a $1 million fine. He owns and operates Capital Petroleum gas stations. Prosecutors say he conspired with other Capital Petroleum employees to distribute synthetic marijuana between July of 2015 and May of 2016. He also continued to sell the items after investigators executed search warrants at 2 of his stations. This Milwaukee woman faces charges in connection to last week's Amber Alert case. Deloise Lipsy is charged with helping Darius Higgins avoid arrest. Higgins, accused of shooting 2 women in Milwaukee. One woman, the mother of his child, died from her injuries. He is also accused of abducting his daughter, 2-year-old Noelani Robinson. An Amber Alert was issued for Noelani. She was found dead in Minnesota from blunt force trauma. Leaders in the Clinton Community School District are hopeful that voters will approve a $32.8 million facilities referendum on April 2nd. That plan would include demolishing the elementary school and middle school and building one joint building to combine them. The referendum would bring with it an average property tax increase of $264 per year for every $100,000 in home value. Those against that plan don't like the tax increase, but District Administrator Jim Brewer said that's something the board took into account.
The board decided to slow down, take their time, do some more listening sessions with members of the community, and really put together a plan that they feel is indicative of what everybody needs and wants within the Clinton Community School District.
Brewer says he's encouraged to see how well other Rock County schools did with referenda in the fall election. And this just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Edgerton High School students will be searched tomorrow morning in response to a bomb threat. The superintendent says that threat was found on a bathroom wall and that school staff is working with the Edgerton Police Department to secure the building.
Morning, our Eric Franke is here now with what it means and how the governor is responding. Eric.
Yeah, this order took effect immediately. Mark and Susan, and the governor and attorney general wasted no time taking action. Within hours at the governor's request, the AG, Josh Kaul, promptly filed a motion to get Wisconsin out of the ongoing federal lawsuit challenging the Affordable Care Act. Judge Neese's ruling blocks the enforcement of laws passed in that lame duck session in December, which included barring the governor from withdrawing from any lawsuits without legislative approval. Republicans are promising an appeal, which could put the decision on hold eventually. Governor Evers says the act preserves the state constitution.
We don't view this as a window of opportunity. We think we're right on the issues, and clearly the judge made it very clear that the Constitution counts for something in the state.
Now, here's part of a joint statement from Republican leadership. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald saying the ruling creates chaos and will raise questions about items passed during previous extraordinary sessions, including stronger laws against child sexual predators and drunk drivers. We will appeal this ruling. The governor and his staff say they'll also look closely at what the impact is the ruling might have on 82 appointments made by then Governor Walker that were confirmed in that lame duck session. Republicans will likely ask an appellate court to stay that ruling very soon. Mark and Susan, big news today, though.
All right, thanks, Eric.
A Milwaukee college is heading to the National Junior College Division II National Basketball Tournament, and when they go, the MATC Stormers will have a sixth man on the floor with them in spirit. Much of the seed money for scholarships for that team was made possible by a $40,000 donation from the Kellerman family. Will Kellerman was an MATC basketball player from Verona who died in a crash in the fall of 2017. A scholarship established by his family in his memory. Many of you donated. It has the Stormers experiencing March Madness as Will would have wanted them to.
I'm always talking to my guys from last year about him. We never forget about him, thinking about him, talking about him every day, actually. He was just a great impact to everybody.
There's not words that can be said to show the gratitude to them and their family for their contribution to our scholarship fund. He will always be in our hearts, and their family will be with the Stormer family forever.
And their postseason journey begins tomorrow in Danville, Illinois, 1 p.m. against Ancilla College. The government is making hundreds of documents public related to the investigation into President Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen. The documents show the FBI was investigating Cohen for nearly a year before his office and home were raided. Cohen pleaded guilty to tax evasion and making hush money payments to two women who allege they had extramarital affairs with Donald Trump. Cohen is expected to begin serving a 3-year prison sentence in May. The Trump administration proposing limits on how much graduate students and parents of undergraduate students can borrow in federal student loans. White House officials included the plan in a list of suggested changes to the Higher Education Act. That proposal hopes to reduce the nation's student debt.